a tune and all this stuff. The idea for me of just being able to get something down on tape that I could say was my own was almost enough. But what really helped was I would take like, I remember one time I took the Clapton lick from White Room.
Wish I had $1 for every time that showed up in my stuff.
Dude, I love that lick. It's one of the greatest things of all time.
It pops out everywhere.
Yeah, I fucking love that lick. I mean, that was, I think, the first solo I ever really learned. So when I was young, that was in everything everything I did.
There's a lot of Ace Frehley licks that pop up in my stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Jimmy Page. And,
subconsciously.
Well, they're hard to avoid, you know. I mean,
yeah, if you play pentatonic, you're gonna hit one. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so like I'll start off with something like that, like everybody knows, or take like an ism. Like an ism is something like something that you take some idiosyncratic thing that guitar players do, like Blackmore. One of my favorite Blackmore isms is that. You know,
tremolo pick down bend, yeah.
It's trill bend or whatever, bend release. But that's like a Blackmore ism, and I'll throw that in, you know, sometimes, or something that, you know, is like a Van Halen, you know, whatever it is, and it'll give you a jump off point to the next thing you're gonna do, whatever it is, you know, and but my thing is that it depends on the situation too. Like sometimes melodies aren't gonna work for a certain rhythm, you know. Right. Sometimes you need a more rhythmic approach to rhythm.
I like to hear like wide intervals too, and because that's a little more unique, you know, because everybody's like following the same do re mi fa sol all the time.
Yeah.
I just
big wide vinegars.
What I used to do is get really pissed off at something, and then I would just go hit record and just. And that'd be
that's being inspired by an emotion, and that's fine.
Usually work.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other
girls
things that, like, you know, everybody's different styles. Okay, everybody doesn't play the same style even within this genre. You know, you have loads of technique. Other people don't have anywhere near that amount of technique. A guy like Angus Young can write a perfect solo when he wants to. Okay, and another guy who does like amazing shit with very little is like Leslie West. Yeah. Leslie West will just do more with attitude.
I have hung out with Leslie, and I've sat this far away from Leslie with the guitar. Yeah. I worship Leslie. He's one of the coolest guys in the world, and I would kill to have his vibrato, his tone, and his attitude. And like in his video, his instructional video, when he's talking about his vibrato, his biggest thing is the reason why I have this vibrato is because I'm patient. I'll take the note this way all the way and then come all the way back and then come all the way this way and come all the way back. He's like,
the vibrato exercises are coming back.
Yeah, he's like I'm not afraid to go there and come back. A lot of guys get, you know, they don't have patience.
Yeah, you hear that a lot in like guys like Kirk Hammett never got past it. Right. They've got that really.
It's, you know,
I'm not going to sit and wait. I'm not going to vary the speed.
I hate to, you know, to sound this analytical about it, but a vibrato is something that you actually can really develop if you work at it.
I had to develop my vibrato.
And you can't develop it. Everybody sort of gets like the one vibrato that they're born with that just comes naturally, and whether, you know, you can gain control over that. But if you want more than that one vibrato that you're going to hit every time, or if you want it to sound different than what it is, you work on that. Yeah, and people who tell you they're not working on that, they're lying.
I worked my ass off on this is the first day I walked into GIT. When I went to GIT, I could pick really fast. Yeah. But vibrato wasn't something I ever really concerned myself with.
The Berkeley guys had the same problem. They could fly up and down the neck with this running the scales.
Well, listen to this. I walk in first day. We sit down and I walk into Paul Hanson's open counseling. I was talking about Paul Hanson earlier, and it was the Aeolian progression. And we're sitting and I walk in and I fucking pick really fast. And the deal was open counseling in GIT is you go into this room. There'd be like maybe 8 other guitar players. You'd be there with the teacher. Everybody would take turns soloing over the chord progression. And then everybody would comment on whatever you did. So that was really big. I learned more from the students I went to school with than from the teachers, because the guys would say stuff that nobody else would say. And as they went around the room, the same comment happened time and time again. Your picking hand is awesome, dude. It's really relaxed and amazing. But what about your vibrato? What about your vibrato? What about your vibrato? And I went home that night and I was like, well, I guess I don't have any vibrato. I got to start working on it. So I did. And I worked on my vibrato the same way I worked on my picking, by starting really slow with the metronome. Yeah. I recorded 2 notes going back and forth. G to A.
Yep.
And I sat there going.
Yep. That's one way.
So I got it.
Yep.
And then I sped it up, and then I would do, you know, eighth notes.
Eighth note vibratos,
Triplets.
quarter note vibratos,
Yeah,
full,
sure.
you know, whole step
Six- yeah,
vibratos. Yep.
16th note vibratos, you know, and
Yep.
like
Different speeds, different widths.
different speeds, different widths, exactly.
Yeah.
And like trying to get it nailed. And then it became a matter of like imitating people's different vibratos. When
Sure.
you learn something, you know, get the Clapton vibrato. The one I've never been able to do is that Clapton first finger vibrato, where he takes all his fingers off the neck except his first finger and rocks it back and forth.
Yeah.
But like the patience thing, one of the things that since I'm doing this King of the Blues thing, I've been watching a lot of blues on YouTube, like a lot of blues players. And you see, the guy who I've been watching the most is B.B. King. And what I like to watch with B.B. King is when it's like B.B. King, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Vaughan, and like Buddy Guy. And the thing about B.B. that's so amazing is even as he gets older and he's losing his facility to play, what he isn't losing is his voice. And as he gets older, he's not in a rush. He plays so far behind the beat, he's almost on the top of the next beat coming up. And his vibrato is still fucking killer, and his phrasing is still fucking killer, because it's right there, it's in the pocket. And that's like the most important thing, patience, it would be what I say. And it goes back to the soloing thing. If you're not getting something when you're writing a solo, be patient with yourself. I know for myself, I beat myself up when I can't get something.
The other thing I think
just
put the
guitar down and take a break.
The other thing I've run into, and I think this is really important when you're trying to compose a song.
Well, don't put the guitar down, but take a break.
The other
Well,
thing,
you know, like you said before, go take a dump, you know, go read Playboy, go surf porn, play World of Warcraft, whatever. You know.
But I think the other thing that I think
Rub one
is
out.
important is the song. The song will tell you if you're on the right track or not as well. Don't force it. If you know, it's like, oh, I want to play this fast part here. You know, I have this fast lick I want to work into my song, and it may not work at all.
Right.
And it's just like, let the song dictate what the solo wants to be.
Well, you know, I'd actually like to make a point there. One of the hardest things for myself that I have found over the years, and it's something that I think I've finally come to terms with, is being able to play fast without it sounding out of place. Like being able to go from slow speed to a fast speed, like throw fast licks in, without it sounding like I'm playing my fast flashy lick.
Right.
You know, like make it a part of the musical statement.
Right.
That's something that when I see young kids, either my students or, you know, working in guitar stores, seeing kids come and play, they'll play, you know, whatever, blues licks, and then they'll go to a fast lick, and they'll play another blues lick. But there's no cohesion between the statement of like the original.
This is what
lick,
I was talking about on that
moving back,
Chickenfoot
and then-
solo last night, and I
then going
wish I
back
knew
to
the
other
song
continuous
title.
lick. What?
There's a song on the Chickenfoot album where Satriani falls right into that hole, the one
Yeah.
you're just talking about.